Hi, it's Stephanie Evelo here with the Evelo team at Keller Realty, and I'm excited today. Even in this little bit of dreary weather outside, we've got some exciting news to share with you about our monthly real estate market update. We try to come to you each month to share with you what's going on in the last 30 days so you can kind of get an idea of what to expect, hopefully, as we move forward in the next 30. With me today, I've got Bob Werner. Bob, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, Bob Werner, I guess now Vice President of the Evelo Team, and I've been with the Evelo Team for 9 years. And other than that, just here to share the same old goodies we share every month, so you can just be aware of what's going on in the market.
Yes, and yet lots has been happening, right? Lots has been happening as we've broken into this spring market. So yeah, Bob. So kick us off. So what has happened in the local housing market in the last 30 days?
Yeah, so there's a few things we've obviously looked at each month. First up is just some general overall market conditions. Our first slide is that median sales price. So for the month ending March of 2022, we hopped up to 260,000. So that's up 4%, just over February's number, and still up 15.6% year over year. So still seeing that kind of year over year growth of about 15%. And for several months now, we've kind of been taking this look back over this 5-year graph. So you can kind of see where we were in January of 2017, just a tinge over 140. And you can kind of see we go up and down, up and down. So our spike, or our spring season, has definitely started there. Next up is this, we kind of take a look at that median days on market. So again, that continues to kind of fluctuate around 4 or 5. So we were at 5 last month, and we're at 5 again this month. So that's just the average number of days between when a listing goes live until when it goes under contract. So still very quick, and there's probably actually a couple artificial days in there because a lot of listings go live on Thursdays or Fridays, then accept offers through Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So they're artificially on the market for a few days, but that number's staying pretty consistent. That next one up is the kind of supply of inventory. This is probably the biggest change that we've seen over the last 5 years. Again, if you've been with us before, you'll have heard me say that a balanced inventory market is considered about a 5 to 7 month supply. So if no other homes came on the market, how long would it take us to sell through all those active listings? And we're at 0.6 months for this past month, which is down 14% over last month and down 8% over last year. And you can just see, even the last time we were at a 4-month supply, which still isn't considered balanced, was all the way back in 2017. And we just continue to go down, down, down on that regard. And the last one up on this front is just that average list to sales price ratio. So on average, what is the percent of sales price versus the list price? Again, we're up over 100%. So for the month ending March 2022, we were at 101.2%, which is up a full percent over last month and up 1.5% over last year.
Yeah, and I mean, these numbers are just staggering, right? Like, and we've been in these for how long, right? And I know most common question everybody keeps asking, of course, to us is, should they be selling or should they be buying? And it's like, well, look at the graph. I mean, it's always a great time to sell and always a great time to buy, really. I mean, the market, you can just see by the numbers. It's just not our opinion, right?
Right.
So what does that 0.6 month supply look like? What does that look like for you?
So what we've been doing for the last couple of years is just kind of breaking what that just on a big scale, what that looks like. So we kind of do a lot of business up on the north side, Indianapolis, all over, but so we've just kind of taken a look at these 5 northern suburban areas, and we really started tracking this when it dropped under 500. And for the last several months, we thought 500 was significant. And for the last several months, we've been tracking under 200 active listings across these 5 suburbs. Today, we had 171. And then we've also kind of taken a look at those at 250 or under, and we're at 6 again. So those are just absolutely kind of crazy numbers in terms of active inventory. There's certainly more homes coming on the market. It's just with that median days on market being 5, right? It's just every week is a new transition of listings, and then they're gone, and then next week, and the same thing on repeat.
Well, and I think that's why it's so important. Like when people, ask, well, why the Evelo team, or why would somebody work with the Evelo team, or why would they work with somebody that's a team versus like an individual agent? And that right there is exactly why, right? Like, I mean, when you have only one active listing under 250 in Fishers or a couple of different areas, I mean, when that listing comes on, you got to be ready to jump, right? I mean, I know that there are sellers nowadays where, it goes on the market and then they have so many showings in the first day or two, they stop showing. So if you don't have an agent that can get you in like immediately into that property, you might miss out even getting to see it, to even try to get in the game. So yeah, it's a crazy market out there. And I think people don't really know and understand, how important it is to get with, the right agent and the right agency, to make that happen for them, especially as a buyer. Yeah. But those numbers are staggering, which is why, right? It's important. So what about interest rates currently? I know everybody always asks about interest rates and mortgage stuff. What is that looking like?
Yeah, so this is probably getting the most attention nationwide from a media perspective, right? If you're tuned in on your phone or tuned into the news each night, I think that when it comes to the housing market, this one segment has probably captured more stories in the last 30 days than probably anything else. So, we started talking in 2021 that the experts were certainly predicting that interest rates would rise in 2022. They have done just that, and they've risen even a little bit quicker than maybe what was anticipated. So for the week ending 4/7, which was last week, the average 30-year fixed rate mortgage sat at 4.72%. And that's up 1.5% just in calendar year 2022 alone. So definitely some changes there. That said, similar to the point that you made a minute ago, Stephanie, it's about everyone can still have success. It's about having the right partners to be successful. And just to put it in perspective, though, I threw in this graph this time because I think people freak out when they see that big of a jump in interest rates. And so this graph here,
you're still under 5, right?
Right,
you're still low.
And so over the last 5 decades, there's only been one decade that's been lower than what we're at currently, right? So we're still in generational low interest rates. It's just that we've come out of the lowest decade of average interest rates in the history of the United States.
It's just, we've all just been so spoiled for the last how long, right? With these super low rates. Yeah, absolutely. Well, anything else, any final thoughts to share with our listeners and our public audience?
Yeah, I always like to come up with something, and I just want to say, right, that owning a home continues to be just a steady, proven method for long-term wealth building, right? So whether you've been waiting to sell because you're not sure of your next move, remember all that equity growth you've had the last, half dozen years or so, depending on how long you've lived in your current home and how you might be able to transition that into your next stage of life, whatever it is, or those people that are renting and sitting on the sidelines. If you've been sitting on the sidelines for the last 2 or 3 years, all that's happened is you're continuing to lose money instead of build wealth, right? And so we are definitely here to help you be successful and have the right tools and processes in place to help you succeed in this market. But the longer you wait, whether it's those continued 15% increases in median home values or the continued increase of mortgage interest rates, which leads to higher overall payments and lower buying power, you're just continuing to lose more money as you wait. So we're here to help, and we just want to make you be successful and be a part of that homeownership dream.
Yeah, and I'm a walking example. Derek and I are walking examples of the cost of waiting, right? So we looked at building in Florida a year ago, and because we waited just 1 year, the cost of that went up almost $100,000 in just the property. So we're building the exact same floor plan we looked at a year ago, and it's almost $100,000 difference than just 1 year ago. So yeah, there is definitely a cost of waiting, right? So don't do as we do, do as we say, right? We just want to say thank you, Bob. Thank you for always sharing what you share. We appreciate you so much as a valued member of the team, and our research king. We appreciate it so much. And we want to thank everybody for joining us today. And if you have a real estate need that we can help with, let's connect. You can connect with us at info@eveloteam.com or at 317-863-9011. And we'll put both of those contacts in the post here. But thank you so much for joining us today. And remember, as always, make each moment count. Bye-bye.
Bye.